Hello, this is Jill from Baby Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you're okay. Beautiful weather here in the UK, quite warm, so we're all doing well. Still locked down for the most part, allowed out, well, some people are allowed out for exercise. Apparently I'm not really, because I'm one of the vulnerable crew because of a medical condition, but I do sneak out and do some exercise every so often. Anyway, today our card is, this is my entry for the Stampin' Dreams blog hop last week, a few days ago. And I didn't bring you a video at the time, so I'm doing the video today, and I'm going to change up the colours as per usual. I don't hardly ever make an exact duplicate of my cards. So this was the one in purple. I do seem to be been a bit on a lilac run for a little while. I've got loads of cards here and they all seem to be lilac. I'm loving Purple Posy, this pale card. Loving it. I'm going to have to buy an extra pack of that before it retires so that I've still got some in my stash, I think. So anyway, this is the card we're going to make today. Slight changes, and I'll explain why as we go through. First of all, the colours I'm using on, so here I used Purple Posy, Highland Heather, and Gorgeous Grape was the backing here. Today I'm going to use Blushing Bride and Rococo Rose, so it's going to be a pink version. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a length of ribbon, and I'm going to colour my ribbon. This is our crinkled seam binding ribbon, which is white, but you can have it in whatever colour you like, as long as you've got a blend pen or a marker pen to mark it. You could even do it with your ink pads. I tend to do it with my blends pen because they work quite well. So all you need to do is just stroke your blend pen along. This is meant to be Rococo Rose. It's not looking very Rococo Rose, actually. Hey ho, we'll go with it. Looks more like Melon Mambo to me. It's a bright pink. Hasn't got that dusky element to it. Hey ho. What I might do, I might see if the light one. I'm doing this first because it just takes a little while to dry. If you try and handle it too quickly, it can come, the colour comes off on your hands. So just do that before you start your project. I'm just going to try the light Rococo. This is definitely, I keep looking at it to make sure it is Rococo Rose, and it is. So let's just see what happens when we go over it with the light Rococo. So that was the dark Rococo Rose. Actually, it is going a bit more Rococo Rose-ish now it's drying. But I'm just going to go over it with the light one, just to see if that has an effect. It's the joy of blends. You can go over them. And they won't show any marks or anything. They're alcohol based, so you can play around as much as you like. So actually it's much more Rococo Rose now it has dried, I have to say. Looked a bit bright when it was colouring, but anyway, that won't do any harm, putting some light on it as well. So I'm going to put that to one side to dry. We'll come and use that later. Now we're going to go back to our card blank, which is Blushing Bride. And on my original card, I used the Happy Birthday from the Itty Bitty stamp set to stamp a background, but it got a bit messy, really. Here I lined it, it looked a bit too uniform, and then down here when I tried to do it differently, it's not quite straight, and and there's sort of a lot of ink on that one, not quite so ink. I wasn't happy. So anyway, I thought I'd do something different. So I was looking around for a background stamp that I could use on this one, and I found a set that I had completely forgotten about, which is Make a Difference. This set, which is the one with all the letters and things, but it's got this quite sweet little flower spray in it. So I've brought that in, and I'm going to stamp that with Blushing Bride all over so that's going to be my background. So this card is not going to have a greeting on it at the minute, any sort of sentiment. So it's going to be a just because card, I think. So it could be a thank you, could be a happy birthday, whatever. So I'm just going to use my stamp. I'm going to turn it round a bit as I go. And just fill in the spaces, just to give me a background there. And I think I will end up liking this a lot more than the thank you, the happy birthday on the other set. On the other card, I was a bit pushed for time when I did that one, so I didn't have time to redo it. But for this one, I've taken a bit more time and found a set. I do like this. Is making pretty paper, look. Pretty background. lace up there in case that shows, and another one up here in case that shows. There we go. Quite easy and quick to do, but gives you a nice background. Of course, if you've got DSP pattern paper in the colour that you want, in the colours that you want, you could use that. I'm on a mission this catalogue not to buy quite so much designer series paper that I will end up not using. I love it, I sit and stroke it, I just don't use it, and it's not an economical use of money. I like to be thought of as a bit of a thrifty crafter. So right, okay, and I'm just going to do, I don't think I'm going to need any more here, but I'm just enjoying doing this, so I'm going to carry on. I'd quite like to do the whole sheet. And I'm just turning this stamp pad, the stamp around just to fit it in. It's quite a nice one because it sort of fits that quite well. Right, that will do. That's my background. And then I've got a piece of card. I've got two pieces of card here. I've got a piece of cardstock, which is 11 by 8, I think. Let's just check. 11 by 8, yeah. And then the piece of Whisper White that's going to go on there is 10.5 by 7.5, like so. And that's going to go on there. Oh, it's looking good. There we go. Right, okay, so we're now going to stamp the carnation. I think it's a carnation anyway. The carnation-y type stamp. Seems to me that those are carnations. What do you think? This is what's so good about this stamp set. There's irises, carnations, and rose. Well, I think they're roses, rose type stamps. So there's 3 different flowers, plus there's some patterns to go. It's quite a good value stamp set and some nice sentiments. So it's a good value set. Right, okay, I've got to try and get this one in the middle. Actually, I'm going to measure my card so that it actually does go in the middle, because I would quite like it absolutely central. So I'm going to measure 10.5, so 5 1/4, and I know that my stamp is going to be in the middle. Of course, you could always stamp your panel and then cut it. I haven't done that today, but you could do that. So there we go. There we go. There's one. We're now going to do another one over here, trying to make sure it's exactly the same level in line, and another one here. There we go. Lovely. And then we're going to come in with the flower head, which I had a minute ago. There it is. And we're going to do that in Blushing Bride. So we're going to have pink carnations today. There we go. Like so. And this one doesn't fit exactly. It overlaps, sort of gives a real watercolour effect. It's not meant to fit in the outline exactly, so don't worry if yours doesn't, because it is not designed to. There. So it just gives a little bit of coloured watercolour effect. And then I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz to do the stems and leaves. And again, these won't fit exactly, so don't worry if it overlaps. It just adds to that watercolour effect. So you can try and line it up with the leaves and the stem, but there will be bits that overlap, like so. But it's quite easy to do. It's not hard, and they're so pretty, these carnations. I do love them. In fact, I do love this stamp set. It wasn't one that jumped out of the catalogue at me at first, but I've grown to love it. It's been a grower, this one, for me. Right, okay. And then, so that's going to go on there. I can rub out my pencil. Got a little tiny mark there, which I don't think is pencil, so it won't rub out. But later on I'll bring in my sand rubber and sand eraser and to get rid of that. That's going to go on there like that, but first we're going to wrap our ribbon around it. So we're going to take our ribbon It is quite Rococo Rose, I suppose, isn't it? And we're going to tie a bow. It's a bit stiffer once you've put the blend colour on it. It goes a bit stiffer. It's very light and flimsy before you do the colouring, but after the colouring, the pen just makes it goes a little bit more stiff. But it's still quite easy to tie a nice bow in this. So, and again, there's a bit of a watercolour look going on with the ribbon. It's not coming. If I'd gone over it again and again, I could have got a solid colour, but I quite like this watercolour look, so I've left it. Up to you what sort of look you want to go for. Right, there we go. There's our bow. So I'll just cut that off there. And I'm doing the bow separately, you'll notice, because I'm going to stick that on after. So, and then the ribbon, just going to have a stretch of ribbon going around like that. So I'm going to take my tear and tape to do this. And I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape behind here where I want it, and a little bit of tear and tape. So I quite often don't wrap my ribbon around the edges. I cut it off really crisply so that it looks like it goes around the edges, but for this one it's so thin and floaty that it's not going to make that. I don't do it because it just bulks it out too much. You have 2 layers of ribbon, one on the front and the one going around the back, and it just bulks it out too much. But this one I think will be okay because it's so thin and flimsy, this ribbon. So what we're going to do, we're going to we want it to go like that. So we want this bit to go there. So that's now stuck to the, straighten it up a bit, stuck to the tear and tape, and then we just want this bit to go in line like so, and just glue that down, and then we can trim those ends off. Don't need those. And then that's going to glue onto there, that's going to glue onto there like so. Right, okay, so let me bring my Tombow in. Glue that on there. Like so. A little bit of Tombow on my panel. I still prefer the purple colourway though, actually. I'm not sure. I'm never quite sure about the Stampin' Up pinks. I like Melon Mambo. Got a lovely magenta coming in the In Colours. I don't know. I'm not that keen on Blushing Bride, actually. I used to prefer Pink Pirouette, which was actually a very similar pink, but just a nicer, purer pink. I don't know. I'm not that keen. I don't know. It seems a bit of a peachy pink, Blushing Bride. But like I say, I love the lilacs. I love all the blues. I've got a really good selection of greens. So I shouldn't complain, I suppose. There we go. I just am a bit of a pink girl. There we go. And lastly, we're just going to come in and stick our ribbon bow on there. So just with another little bit of tear and tape. Like so. You could put it going the other way as well if you want, but this will be enough to hold it down. And it's just about the right width for this ribbon if you're careful. I'm just going to try and get the backing off now, just bear with me. Not always easy, doesn't want to come. There it is, there. And my ribbon is going there. Oh, a bit wonky, but that's all right. There, all done. Okay, and then just before I go, I'm going to take another piece of cardstock, another piece of Whisper White. That's going to go in there. But before I do, I'm going to do the same stamping. So I'm going to use Memento Black, Tuxedo Black, to just stamp another carnation at the bottom there. And then another green stem with the pear pizzazz. You could always do this at the same time as you were doing the others if you thought of it, not like me, so that would save you a bit of time if you're short on time for crafting. And then another pink flower head, and then that's going to glue inside your card to make it nicer. So back in with the Tombow. Like so. And oh, look how pretty that looks in there. That looks pretty, doesn't it? There we go. And that's it. So there's our two versions. Let's get rid of all the junk. There's our two versions. I much prefer this background, I have to say, but I still like that colour scheme best. But I can live with this, I think. Like I say, if it was in Pink Pirouette, I think I would have liked it better. But anyway, there we go. Two cards made with the Inspiring Iris stamp set. Beautiful, beautiful set. So you've got this rose, you've got the irises, you've got the carnation, you've got a pattern, and then you've got some lovely sentiments here. So all in all, a really good set, and I love it. I'll be back with another one of them. I'm going to make some more cards with this set, I think, quite soon. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you wanted to buy this set, you can nip down to my Stampin' Up shop, which is below, and you'll be able to click online, and if you just search for Inspiring Iris, it should come up. But that's it from me today. Hope you have a lovely day. Hope you're okay, and I will see you again soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.